Mhm. Oh, wow. Hello, hello, hello. And good evening, good evening, good evening once again. Welcome to Saffron SACAP's voiceover talk show. My name's Giz Ojiako, your director for programs, and it's amazing to be back here once again. It's lovely to see everybody. I'm seeing so many new names and new faces, which is what we like at Saffron because it then means our family is growing. So without much ado, good evening, Wurola. Thank you. I would like to introduce my boss. Right now, it seems it's only the two of us on, but our other colleagues will be joining us shortly. So without much ado, before I continue, if I could ask you to unmute Yemi and introduce yourself.
Okay. Thank you so much, Giz. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, somewhere in the world, wherever you're joining us from. It is good to have you with us this afternoon here in, well, where are you? We're in Kent.
You're in,
We're
you're in.
in Kent. I'm in Kent, UK. We are also reaching out to welcome all our family and friends from Nigeria, and actually, I think a couple of people from US and the Caribbeans as well. So it is lovely to and Scotland. Wura, great to have you here this afternoon as well. From Lola Dada, welcome. Chini, great to have you here. Naomi and Rashford. Um, Great to have everyone here. I'm also your host on Facebook. Hello, everyone on Facebook. It is lovely to be back with you this week. Please, please, please show some love, share, comment, ask your questions. Let us know your thoughts. I will be on with you, and I probably believe we would have Debbie also joining us. So, yes, it is going to be a very interesting topic for us to talk about today. I've had quite a few people send messages and saying this is a very important topic that, and many people don't really want to talk about it, but hey, you know what we're like. Bring it on. So have a lovely evening. Giz, over to you.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
take care.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Yemi. I don't even know why I'm echoing. Am I still echoing? Okay, I'm not. All right. Thank you so much for that, Yemi. Yes, and good evening, everybody. It's amazing to be back, like I said initially. But before we proceed into what is going to be an amazing evening, I have a few people I will be calling on to introduce themselves, and there will be a reason behind this. But for those of you who don't know, Saffron is a safeguarding organization, and we cater to the African and the Caribbean community within the United Kingdom. We also have our NGO, which is which is based in Nigeria, and it's all to do with safeguarding and child protection. Now, in light of the past few days, it would be a travesty for us to overlook the effects the last couple of days have had on our community. And for Saffron, when we call our community, we are not just talking about the adults here, we are talking about the children. We won't be going into details because, like we said, we like to stay out of the politics, and what we like to focus on is, the challenges we find within our community that impact us as a people. And post the three lions, the England's football match, which I want to say they did amazingly. It was very, very, very sad to see the barrage and the abuse that followed. We're not going to focus on the negative, but we will put it out there. We in no way subscribe. We do not in any way, shape, or form, condone what has happened. As an organization, our focus is on the impact this has had on the young people within our community. We have very frightened young children at the moment. We have very, I would say, frayed youth who are scared now to go out. And what we will be doing, because this program was already set for this week, what we will be doing next week's program, we will be addressing the outfall of that level of the outpour of abuse that was faced by the young people, and I know adults as well, but we are focusing on our young people within our community. And it's not just about focusing on the negative, like I said, but as an organization, we like to look at positive outcomes. So we are very solution focused. And next week, what we will be doing is having our Saffron's resident child psychologist will be here. Deborah, she will be here, she will be live to take any questions from parents, guardians, carers for the young people who could be struggling, who I know would definitely be struggling right now as a result of the unnecessary abuse the young people have had to face. So please watch out for the program next week. Please feel free to get your questions prepared. Speak to the young ones, you know, between now and next week. If there are any questions that they are asking you that you don't know how to respond to, and you might need help, please join us next week, where we will be sitting and having that roundtable discussion and seeing how we can be the net, that safety net for our young people. Okay, so we just wanted to put that out there and just say to everybody out there that, you know, we are there for you. And please reach out to, you know, other members if you have any concerns or questions about safeguarding matters. You can also reach out to members of SaffronSACAP, and I know Yemi will put our details in the chat and on Facebook. If in the meantime, some of you if you can't come on online next week, Wednesday, we are not just a Wednesday focus group. We are here for you 24/7. We will be dropping our details in the chat and on Facebook, and you can feel free to reach out to us. We have, you know, professionals in Saffron who will be there to step in the gap. All right. So it's unfortunate that we've had to, you know, open with this message, but it's also very important that we discuss this and make sure that we can be the buffer for our youth. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody. And I do hope you will be reaching out to us should you or anybody you know in the community requires that kind of assistance. So back to today, this evening is a special one. And today's program came as a result of a meeting. You know, we're very busy. I know it doesn't look like it. It looks like we come on here every Wednesday and have fun. But I can assure you that when we're not here, we're doing research, we're talking to people, you know, like we say here on Saffron, #TogetherWeCan. We're very hot on collaborations, we're very hot on partnerships, because it's only when we come together that we can make the change. I've always said, if you want change, you've got to be the change you want to see. And we were very, very opportune to sitting with an amazing young lady. She is online tonight. I will ask her to briefly unmute and introduce herself, because she actually was the catalyst for this program. So Naomi, I'm going to ask you to please unmute. Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thanks. It's really great to be here and kind of see the work in action. Yeah, I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to ask you to give us a very brief, because obviously today's show is as a result of if you can give us a very brief, you know, interlude as to why and what, and then I can, from there, I will take the baton and run. Yeah.
Thank you. So, I mean, first, I think before I get into that, I just want to also echo what you've said and just say how absolutely devastating it was to see the abuse that followed, you know, and it's not, I can't speak to it as obviously a Black person, but, you know, I just want to say about how, you know, just dreadful and upsetting it was, and how, I mean, I just hope, I can't make any sense, heads or tails of it, but if there is anything, you know, that just know that, you know, obviously that sentiment is not echoed, and it is, I mean, I really hope we can move to a place where it's not. But anyway, I don't want to get caught up in that. That's not the reason why I'm here today. I just felt that had to be said. But I'm here today because I met the lovely hosts of this show. Well, we've had a couple of different meetings now through various collaborations. As Giz said, you know, they work with lots of different organizations, and we were kind of connected through that because we're both interested in issues around safeguarding, and we're working both on issues around African migrant communities and experiences here in the UK in particular. I myself, and I'm an academic researcher, I'm an anthropologist who spent some time working in Nigeria. And at the moment, I am both kind of doing academic research and also doing some activist sort of work and advocacy work on various different issues. And one of the things that I've been working on recently is I'm trying to put a film together about African migrant experiences to Europe. And I'm particularly focusing on the issue of trafficking, but also I'm trying to open up into a broader question, and I'm interested in understanding a little bit more about also how beliefs in Juju and fears around it may especially contribute to people's experiences, not just in Nigeria or wherever their original country was, but both in the UK as well. So I'd love to kind of hear any stories anybody has. And I just want to also reiterate that, of course, any material shared today is absolutely kind of confidential and anonymous. You know, I'm very happy to kind of share the final product of the film, hopefully when we get there, with everybody, and we hope that will be a really great educational learning resource, really, that many different people can use and share, and different organizations hopefully can also use to educate about this. I know it's a taboo conversation, but sometimes, you know, it's important to talk about those things as well. They are real things that affect people. So I'm just really here to listen, and yeah, I'm just happy to be here, and please feel free to share or you know, feel as comfortable as you can, but do not feel pressured.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Naomi. And we are really, really happy, you know, to have you on, and to, you know, to be able to be a minute part of what you're doing, which I think is absolutely amazing. So yes, you've all heard from Naomi, and like she said, it is going to, some of the material will be used, not all of it may be used in the production of the film, which we will definitely, with the permission of Naomi, of course, you know, roll out to you under our platform. So if you do have anything to say and you wish to remain behind camera, please, by all means, do so. Nobi, we've always said here, we know we're live on Facebook, it's recorded, we totally understand. But at the same time, as we always say on Saffron, you know, we are here to hear your real stories, because it's only when we hear those stories that we can do something about them. We can be able to effect the change that you as an individual, you as a community wish to see. So, and if at any point in time you wish to talk to Saffron or Naomi outside of the Zoom, please, 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 that is also an option for you. We've always said this is a family. You know, we want you to feel as relaxed and as, you know, happy in dealing with us as possible. So it's the influence of Juju on trafficked victims. As Naomi said, she has done a lot of work in Nigeria, but this is not just confined to the Nigerian space, because it could be from any part of Africa to Europe, or any other place that, you know, these young people may have been trafficked to. And what we are asking is, have you ever witnessed or experienced, you know, the role of Juju in your families? You know, we know, especially back home where we run the house help kind of system, where you have young people who go and they work in homes to help the families. You know, have you experienced through that kind of situation? Or, you know, has it been maybe a place of where you've worked? Have you been privy to you know, the workings or the happenings of Juju? Now, I know, especially from a Nigerian point of view, we all have our own terms for the way we call this. So yes, Juju is possibly a very common one, you know. Yemi, you might need to help me here, because obviously we do have a very large Yoruba following. I do believe we have might have one or two Ghanaians listening in. And I want us to understand it's an open forum, guys. If you have another name for this, please feel free to unmute and let us know, or type it in the chat, because it would also help with the research to hear some other names that this is called. So Yemi, I'm gonna hand over to you. The only reason being is if there are other names you might know that it is referred to by, please help me out here, yeah?
Wow. I don't know. Hey, what names would we? Is anyone? And I know Wura is here, and she is
Yeah.
one woman with a world class of information. Wura, please feel free if you're able to join us and shed light on what other names do we call Juju? Um, hmm, I don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
Hello?
Hello, Wura.
Hello?
Yes, go
Yeah,
ahead.
please feel free.
Another name for you, I think it's jazz, African jazz.
Change.
They refer to it as African jazz sometimes.
Okay.
I think it's African jazz, the one I can actually remember now. Apart from Juju, okay, black magic sometimes.
Black magic.
Yeah.
Black magic, yes.
Okay.
Black
But what
magic.
do we have in Yoruba that we will call it something Ibile, is it? Is it anything Ibile?
Yoruba.
Right. We need some proper indigenous Yoruba people coming on.
And I'm Yoruba. I can't even.
Yeah, it's not something
infiltrated.
it's not something you deal with. Obia. Somebody said voodoo and Obia. Obeah.
Obia.
Yeah, voodoo.
That's a different language. That's not Yoruba, isn't it?
Yes, it's not Yoruba. And actually, when you want to say it in Yoruba, it's something like Ogun. But Ogun is yes.
Okay.
Ogun. Yes, it's Ogun.
Meaning medicine. So meaning
It
black
is medicine, but
right.
Black medicine, yes.
Right. And the Caribbeans call it Obia, Obeah. That has just been typed for me in the chat. And the reason why I'm going down this route is that, you know, I never like to be presumptuous and just think everybody knows what Juju is, because some people might be saying, well, what does that mean? You know? So yes, so those are some different names for it, which is basically possibly all meaning the same thing. So the next question I'm going to put out there is who is brave enough to come forward and tell us their experiences. If you've had a personal experience, it might not even be you personally. It might just be somebody you know. You know, it would be amazing to hear from somebody. Rashford, have you unmuted yourself?
Yes, I have something to say on that.
Go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening, Rashford.
Yes. On that, I have an experience.
Right.
Sometimes April 24 this year, my sales girl in my place of work, she was left all alone, and I've been told that these people move all around and they do the same thing. They just come, they try to charm you, you will lose your feet, you won't know what you're doing again. All what they are just here is just to meet you, buy things, they will cut away with those goods and they won't pay until they leave, like 5-10 minutes before you get back to your senses. I was actually doubting that can happen. But on that third day, it actually happened. They went away with 4 bags of rice, a carton of Wilson oil. That's 4 pieces. Then it was then I knew that yes, this thing was actually real. It's real. They come to you, then they speak with you. They just try to like take you off your feet. Then until they abscond, until they leave with the goods, you won't know. It happens and it's real.
Wow.
Okay, can you tell us, are you able to, at the time, what did you feel? What, what, did you feel anything?
As at that time, I didn't feel anything. To be candid,
Okay.
I didn't feel anything. I was just doing it. Just they were
You've
eager to
muted.
give.
Sorry, go ahead. It's frozen. Okay, Rashid, are you still there?
And whatever they do, it's just like, hello?
Hello, sorry, go ahead.
Yes. As at that time, whatever they do, all what they want to do, just like, okay, cut away with that goods they came for. That's just it. They don't have anything. And that thing is real because not until they left, none of us in the store got ourselves.
Wow.
And the following time, it was 2 times. The second time I was able to take it. I just put some measures in place. Like, okay, one person must not stay in the store because I think they act when that person is just all alone. So I put that measurement in place that one person is not going to be. The second time they came, there's this one that my Yoruba people knows it. They call it anobo. It actually means they're going to give you a denomination. Once you put it in other where you keep other money like that, everything within the trickle of an eye, it goes. Yes, that happened to me 2 weeks ago. But fortunately, let me just say fortunate because I was just fortunate. I didn't put the money there. This guy spent 1,000, bought just tissue paper, tissue, and one other thing. Everything was not up to 200. He said, okay, take your money, put it in your purse now so that you not say you're looking for your money. Immediately says that. The other boy in the store says, okay, your guy, give us the money. As I gave it to him, no one knows where he dropped the money, and we couldn't find the money. But the place he dropped that money, there was voucher money there, which was just like 2,000 naira. We couldn't find the 2,000 and the 1,000 he gave us, in short. And by that time, he had already collected his 900 naira change. Mind you know, he gave us 1,000 naira. And he collected his 900 naira change. And we couldn't find the 1,000 naira he gave us and the 2,000 naira in the purse where we kept the 1,000 naira. So that thing is real. It's real.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much for that. That's it's scary, but it's really nice that you're able to educate and raise that awareness so that if others are listening out there, they can be vigilant. And you called it that you said they use a denomination, so obviously they use money to do that. Is that right?
Yes, they're going to use money. Yes, they use money. Just come with maybe 1,000 naira or 500 naira. So what they're going to do is they must get change. So you'll be eager to put the money in the main purse or in the main safe where you keep all that money.
Yes.
That is their ultimate thing. Yes, that's it.
Okay.
So because at that time you drop it there, you try to give them their change and they leave.
Right.
So
thank you so much for that, Rashford. Thank you. That was amazing.
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. I don't know if there's anybody else here that has anything to add to what Rashford said regarding their experiences or third-party experiences with Juju, black magic, Obeah, whatever we're calling it.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Go ahead, please.
Okay, my name is Olalekan Oyedijo. Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay, very quickly, I want to chip some things in which are very key. And the truth remains that Juju exists, right? If the white people can much believe that God does exist, then in Africa as well, we believe Juju exists. It will be myopic of anybody to say Juju does not exist. Now, when we are now talking about narrowing it down to the topic of the day, which is the influence of Juju on trafficked victims, does the might match the reality? Of course, it does match the reality. The truth remains that a lot of people in Africa, as it were, they believe that if they have not gotten to that Europe, if they've not gotten to that America, if they have not gone to that Obodo Yibo, you understand, they will definitely not make it in life, or they have not made it in life. Yoruba will always say, I will try as much as possible to interpret, but you can help your neighbor in case I didn't get it 100%. Ọtí máa ń pààyàn mọ́ nǹkan tó wà nínú èèyàn, which means alcohol can always have effect on you because it's in you. Do you understand? It is not possible for this juju to act on you from the external without you having a sense of probably greed or a sense of wanting. Do you understand? In you, before they can actually use this on you. As God does exist, a lot of people are living now and they're claiming that I'm not serving in that Christian, I'm not a Christian, sorry, I'm not a Muslim, either Judaist or whatever they call themselves. Now, the truth now is, somebody who says it does not accept or walking in line with your said Jesus or your Allah, interestingly, is still making it in life. But if you yourself does not have that affirmation or confirmation inside you, and they preach the word of God to you, okay, Jesus is the Lord and Savior, blah, 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 it can help you. It's interesting for you to know that there's a kind of a spirit in you that must confirm that. And that is why the pastors preach the word of faith. He said, without faith, how can this be done? You understand? Now, people in Africa, we believe Obodo Yibo, we must go there. And as it is, Juju exists. I can quote like 100 million examples. Juju exists. Because I don't see how someone wants to interpret somebody not putting, what is it called? Normal cocaine that they take to airport. Not putting it inside a, what is it called? A confined place or trying to find a way of hiding it. Just went with that to the airport. You understand? That is the faith he has in what they have given him. And he went to that airport to go and exercise that. And at times, it does work. At times, it's cast. So when it's cast, Yoruba will say, Ewe Sonko. You understand? They just cast. They nab the guy. There are so many instances that we can quote. The Bible will say it is only a mad person that will say there is no God. I don't want us to be mad. I say there is no juju. There's juju confirmed. There's juju, and we are the origin. That's why Onyibo should fear us. We get them plenty, fala. So now, but it's of course in whichever way you want to use it. Juju is like what they call the grace of God. Do you understand? Juju is like what the white people call the grace of God. We can come into the account of religion, and we are able to establish the fact that Yoruba that I know, that I'm part of, we are not subservient to anybody in any way. When we are talking about the religion, when we are talking about our own Ifa here and their own Jesus on the other side, it will interest you to know that we have the same account of Christianity here and the account of Jesus Christ here to our own Ifa train, to what they have as Jesus. They have John the Baptist. God, John the Baptist, what characteristic does he portray? He portrays all the characteristics, okay, sitting under the tree, eating locusts, blah, 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 blah. That is the same thing for, what is it called? Orumila. Ella Inifa is what they call Jesus on the other account. But just because as an Africa we don't have a scrupulous documentation, we would have said we are fathering another Christianity to you. But these people are faster than us, so they have the account. So we have Ella, which is Jesus. We have Orunmila. We have Agbomiregun. Go and check your Bible. All these things are there. So we have what we are following before the coming of the of the Europe and America, of the Western world. We have what we are doing in Yoruba land, same as Igbo. Hausa, I'm not sure of. Do you understand? So the account of I'm talking about Africa and Nigeria and as a typical example now. So in Yoruba land, you are not coming to preach Jesus Christ to us. We know him. He's our own Ella Inifa. We know him. So if you are not saying Jesus is not real, do you understand? If you cannot take the fact that Jesus is not real, then you cannot tell us our own Ella Inifa does not real. It's just a matter of interpretation. So Ifa exists, Jesus exists, Orunmila exists, and all that. So now, all the grace or the graces has been given to every human. We can see on the account of several Christians now that we used Psalm to do something negative. Don't get me wrong, all right? They will use Psalm to do something negative. The same thing you can use Ifa and Juju to do something negative. Because we decide to use our Juju in a negative way does not make you more holier, because you can always use your own Bible as well to do something negative. It just depends on the context which you are using the grace that has been given unto you. Amen. So now, Juju exists. As far as you on the other side, they believe God exists. We believe Juju exists. At the end of every concussion or every making of every Juju, you will come back and say, Olorun je, that is, God will make it work. And when you finish your prayer, you will say, Lórúkọ Jésù la gbàdúrà, in the name of Jesus we are prayed. That is, it is God that answers prayer, it is God that makes the Juju to work. Do you understand? Now depend on the context which you use it. We have some Christians now, like the cherubim, the seraphim and all that. They too conjure something. They can put water here. Even our CAC, my mommy's CAC, they can put water down. They read some into water. They say, go and use it to do whatever. And it's working miracle. Do you understand? Joseph Babalola used water to perform several miracles. You get it? So the same thing is on the other side as well. It is the same, the same grace God has given, but with different interpretation. So in Africa, in your own Pentecostal kind of, or Catholic, or probably, Catholic still use rosary, which some people can call an image. Do you understand? You get the scope. Now, at the same time, Pentecostal now does not believe in all that. All they do is communion, and that is all. Now, in the traditional way, they also have their belief. And they also have the ways and manner which they do it. Don't be surprised. Many Ifa people will enter the kingdom of God, and many so-called Muslim and Christian will be in fire. Because if you actually follow this to the letter of how it has been given for you to practice it in its best practice. I'm not sure everybody can be Christian or everybody can be Muslim before the end of life. Okay. But what the Bible tells us is that your character must be like that of Jesus. You need to know this. In Ifa settings in Africa, that we are the originator. Some people are claiming Brazil, but they are not serious. We own it. Let them come and they should not come and drag what belongs to what we own with us. Let their head correct. Now, what we are talking about here, we need to understand. In Africa, at times we tend not to value what we have. But some of us have the understanding. We have studied in the English land and what the black land. And we are happy to stand in front of them and say we own this thing. The interpretation you are giving it in your own place, being that that is not the way we are interpreting it here, does not make us subservient to you. So as God does exist to you, that you call him God, That is where Juju, Ifa, Ebosise, Keyoseto, and so on and so forth does exist and is real.
Awesome.
So
Okay,
now, the
Shegu.
greed of our people. So the greed of our people saying that, okay, I remember when we were in secondary school, let me cite this example. There's one boy in my class, when all of us are growing up, he will come and carry one ring. He say, if I touch one girl like this, the girl will follow me, I will have a sex with the girl. Now, if the girl does not have that in mind, you will not even move close to me. I mean, your head is not correct. I day my day, you day your day. You come to touch me, say you they carry me go somewhere. Before you
Okay,
move close, I don't know.
Shegu, can I interject there? Because this example you've given has kind of led us back to where we started, which is we want to ask, the question we're asking today is, you just made a statement that if the boy wore his ring and touched the girl. Now, these trafficked victims, are you then saying that the juju has been able to infiltrate and surround them, so these young girls do not know that they are being trafficked, or the juju has made them to fall and say it's fine for them to be trafficked? You see, I'm trying to see the connect, and the connect where you talked about the ring. So what the question we're trying to ask today is, we're basically looking at the connection between juju, voodoo, black magic, and how it is used to traffic these victims from Africa to Europe or wherever else it is they're being trafficked to. If you can just use like 1-2 minutes and shed some light before we move on to somebody else, please.
Or maybe also why it is being used.
Why it is being used and
used.
why. He might not,
Okay. Yeah? Okay. Let me pick it from the last question. Where it is, why is it being used, and why it does work on them? The thing is this: it is the greed of party A connecting with the greed of party B that is making this thing work. The Bible says, we have shown you, human, what is good and what is bad. You made a choice. I can remember in the year, I think 2009, I won US visa lottery. And I discussed with my mom. And she said, if you are going there, what exactly are you going to do? An alligator in Nigeria will not change to a crocodile in US. Alligator is an alligator. Now, those who want to traffic them, they wanted to take them for a business, you understand, to earn more money, which is a greed on their side. Those people, they have what's called, I made an adage the other time, which actually summarize and answer your question, but probably because of the interpretation issue, it is a bit bigger than what we can interpret once. Now, if they don't, those people that is actually working on them, we cannot now say maybe their head is against them anyway, but because we cannot just be 100% sure that, okay, that works. So in conclusion, what I'm saying is that it is the greed of party A and party B and the postulated ideology in Africa that if you have not gone to Obodo Yibo, you will not make it in life. That's a love. Make this thing work. We have some people that believe Juju never exists. We have some people that believe it can never work on them. Quote and unquote, probably it might not work. Probably it might work. But those people that they can say this thing is working on them 100%, them themselves are interested in going to Obodo Yibo. Someone has ever walked up to me and told me, you, this guy, blah, 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 come and move cocaine to US. And I look at it. I have a name to protect. Do you understand? I thought of myself down. That is the greed of, okay, you take, is it like 37 million gain? Override my common sense. Ask these people, most of them that those things worked on, how many of them seek what's called like counseling, mentorship, or anything when they actually introduce that to them? Yoruba will say, Ejola abo gunro, that is, you make discussion with jazz. Jazz cannot jazz you without having relevant and what's called information. They can't just use ring to touch you and say, oh yeah, let's go to America. They will discuss with you. They will get passport for you. They get you visa. They get you, what's it called, tickets.
Okay.
How many of them have time to discuss it with any of their family? It is their own greed that is killing them.
Thank you, Segun. Thank you so much. You've given us quite a lot to to digest here, but yes, I think we're kind of getting the message. Thank you for your input. Yeah, awesome.
It's my pleasure.
You're welcome. Do we have anybody else who has something to add? We're talking about the effects of how does how is Juju able to affect these trafficked victims? You know, how does it work? Why does it work? You know, what is it that is? Omotola, did you unmute too?
Okay, I just unmute now.
Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Sorry if I just came in now, that I came late.
That's okay.
First of all, from an ideal world to me, if you, for example, if you are going to borrow money in a bank, or you are going to borrow something from somebody, there must be a written agreement, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when you didn't meet up with your payment, with your repayment, what will happen? That means there is penalty for that. So let's look from that aspect. And also, biblically, if you look at Ephesians 6:12, it says, for we wrestle not against the flesh and body, but against principality, power of the darkness, and the spiritual wickedness. So it shows that when we talk about juju, people that are bounded by this agreement, they are in an agreement. So once they go against the agreement, there must be repercussion about it. Just like you went to a bank, you borrow money, you didn't fulfill your payment. So there's going to be repercussion. That one is so certain in life. So whatever agreement that you have made you have committed yourself to is bound to have negative or positive effect on the person. So I wouldn't say it's not real. I would say it's real. Even Bible has also established it, that we are not wrestling against only flesh and blood, that we wrestle against the spirituality in the dark places. So certainly to me, it have negative repercussion on whoever goes into agreement with anybody, you know, using juju, you understand? So why I said maybe why people who are desperate to go to do such like that man said, greed on both sides, which is good. Which is part of it. And also maybe due to poverty, you understand, and lack of education and awareness, and lack of jobs. We all know that, you understand. Not all of us are fortunate to travel abroad. Not all of us are fortunate to get good job back at home. In fact, a lot of guys that I know that I couldn't help, that I was like, how can I help them? How can I help these people? You understand? The only thing I can help them is to give them advice, to give them reassurance, to advise them. So whatever I have in my own part, to tell them not to go into negative things, to negative agreement, just to keep reassuring them, to keep reminding them, you understand, we have a lot of work to do in that aspect, rather than blaming anybody. You understand? We can't say it's greed. It's just the situation of some people, you understand, the situation they have that push them into doing that. But I would say yes, definitely, juju has repercussion, as said in the Bible as well. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Omoti. Yes, I like what you said when you said it's not just about poverty. If there's anybody else, Yemi, I think you had your hand up. Yes, would you like to add something?
I just really wanted to say I am supposed to be your host on Facebook, but I actually had another site that Facebook has blocked me for a few days. So somebody not very nice reported me. So I am watching and I can take your comments back to the group, but if I'm not commenting, please bear with me. We'll be back on roll next week. So yeah, thanks, Giz. So
Okay.
just let people leave their
I've
comments.
actually put out a disclaimer, so yeah.
Thank you, got you.
That's fine. Okay. All right. So yeah, we've heard from Segun and we've heard from Omoti. That's amazing. Like we said, we are dealing with juju and the effects on trafficked victims. How? Why? Why is it happening? is it real, guys? Is it, are these victims really affected by juju, or is it just a myth? And the reason I say this with all due respect is that there are some people that you're going to ask this question and they're going to say, nah, it's not. But you've heard from Shegun, who said it's real. We've heard from Omotola, and we're about to hear from Oyewole now. It's going to be quite an interesting discussion, because everybody has their own individual views. Some of them are personal experiences. Some of them are experiences they've witnessed, they've been third parties to. So like I said, it's an open forum. Please, please, please feel free to share your stories. If you would like to remain behind camera, that is fine. We did say when I started, some of the information that is going to come out tonight may be used as part of a film which is being put together by Naomi, and Naomi is online at the moment, Naomi Richmond. So please feel free to open up and share your stories. Oyewole, go ahead, please.
Thanks for the opportunity to speak. I have a mixed how do I say, view or perspective on the whole scenario, or situation. I've heard things from people that have had experiences or encounters in London, especially even with like juju as well. And this is a common how do I say, like, it's not a shock thing, or to many people. There's many people that know that, oh, this artist does this rapper does this or that or whatever. So that's not a shock to most people within any set or certain demographic. And I'll say usually African or Black, or anyone that listens to these artists or has any type of knowledge of their surrounding story. But what I will say is that from things I've seen and videos maybe I've watched on YouTube, there's two things. Maybe that it is a case that these people are having this kind of thing done to them. There is black magic involved, and this is why they're doing these kind of things. And then on the other side, there might be people that are already there to extort them and to kind of play against their beliefs and fears and faiths, and use this as a basis to manipulate them as well. I've seen some things where, and obviously you don't know the basis of what they've been told, or how if they do go against what they've agreed to, will be coming into effect. It might not be immediately, and might be immediately, but they obviously have this belief that something will happen. And even after these people will have some type of trauma or post-traumatic stress type thing or fear, just living in a altered reality, because they feel like something will happen to them or people that they love. So I feel like whether or not it actually has an effect, or what the people are doing does have an effect, isn't really the most important thing. Because if it is, what's gonna help, or or be a remedy, isn't something that just every single person will be able to have some type of effect on. Whether it's that they want to go to church, whether it's they want to pray, these are things that they'll have to pursue themselves personally. But the actual real life physical implications of that, sorry, I'm getting a message on my laptop, the actual real life implications of that can't really be taken away. And I feel like that's what really needs to be tackled. And I also want to say as well, it's not just of course, what we're saying today is centered around Africa and Nigeria, but there's like all different practices around the world. It's not some type of made up thing. It's not some type of thing that's exclusive to Africa. And I feel like when people are able to try and make it seem like, oh, this is just something that they're doing, it's very easy to try and say, oh, it's not this or it's not that or whatever. But across cultures, people have had spiritual practices that are for negative purposes, or to have negative effects. There are magicians that you can see on Instagram doing things that are like genuinely defying the laws of physics. It's not a sleight of hand. It's not a trick or an illusion. And I feel like all these things are there to be careful of. But I feel like the most important thing is giving the victims of any type of scenario like this the support they need to get back to whatever you can call real life after that. And just to try and move on, you know. It's not like, you know, and just to do whatever they feel.
Oh my gosh. Really? We've lost him? Wow. That was my hand is paining me because as everybody knows, I like to write. Oyewole, have you gone? Okay.
Yeah, it looks like
It looks like he's dropped out, but you know, I just love the fact that he was focusing on support for these
I
victims.
think I lost connection
Oh,
there
you
for a
did.
second. But I would
You
say
did.
ultimately, you know, it
Don't you just hate technology sometimes?
I said so it just muted me when I reconnected. But yeah, I would just say ultimately, you know, whether it has an effect or not, you know, whether it's something that's disagreed upon, you know, or whether it's a real thing, you know, the effect on the person is real, and you know, because of it has to be addressed either way.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for that input. That was really awesome. Yes, you know, it's we do need to look at, you know, supporting these victims. But before you can look at that, you know, as an organization, we are very hot on prevention. And this is why today we're asking the question, you know, we want to find out, you know, why, where does this come from? Does it actually work? Do you know of any individual or any group of people? And there's this little story I want to share. And the reason I'm sharing this is because obviously, for those of you who know, I was actually born in the UK before going back to Nigeria and living there from the age of 13 to the age of 28. So I came from, a country where obviously back in the 70s, the juju wasn't something that people believed worked. And obviously it's with migration and a lot of, you know, we're now a very multicultural society. Things, you know, perceptions have changed. I remember when I left this country in 83 back to Nigeria, and something happened. It was a personal experience. And it was my young brother who happened to be ill. And the next thing we saw was him screaming at my parents, and my parents are late now, but he was screaming at my parents to smash a bottle. Mommy, smash that bottle, smash that Coke bottle, smash that bottle. And we're thinking, why is this child asking? He was a young boy, very, very sick on the bed, shaking with a very, very high fever. And I remember standing there, I was a young girl as well, looking, thinking, why is he asking for this bottle to be smashed? As soon as this bottle was smashed, it was as if they poured cold water. The fever just stopped. He was a normal child. Somebody had gone from 0 to 100 in the space of 2 seconds. But that wasn't the real story. The real story was there was an individual who he mentioned as part of that situation. And he said that this individual had come to him in the room where he was, offering him a 10 naira note. Now, this individual, as at that time, was not in Africa. That individual was actually resident and still in Nigeria, as at the time that situation was happening in our house in the village. Now, you know, I'm very skeptical. I'm the kind of person that I need to see to believe. Don't tell me things, okay? I saw this. I knew my brother. I knew he wouldn't have been making that up because he did not have the kind of mental ability to be able to falsify something to that degree. That was I would say my first encounter with. It was very scary. It wasn't very nice. And then years later, another thing, obviously with my background in theatre arts, and we were dancing, and some of these girls were dancing. I would not call the state that they were in because we are live. I would not do that, but we were dancing, and the next thing I saw was them. You know, those of you who have watched Spider-Man, I'm sure we've all watched Spider-Man, and you saw them climbing on the walls whilst dancing. There was no scaffolding, there was no ropes. These women did not fall, you know. These are things, you know, I saw, I encountered, which still give me goosebumps till today. And I still sit down in my old age, as old as I am now, asking myself, did that really happen? It did, because these are things I witnessed. So you see, we said the myth versus the reality. Till today, some people still in their heads do not believe that juju exists, you know, and I think everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But I also say, you know, seeing is believing. Yeah, that's the phrase I was looking for. I saw it, and that's why I believe what has happened. It's very difficult for me to listen to reported speech. I love to see. So please, guys, if you've got any if you have any stories, you know, that you have witnessed, and like I said, it might not be you in personally, it could be something that you have been privy to from people staying in your home or from where you visited. Please, please, please unmute and share your stories. We would love, love, love to hear from you.
I have one to share. Sorry,
Yes,
I'm coming
go
back.
ahead.
Yeah,
Go
you know,
ahead.
there's loads of different things that, you know, you'll hear growing up in London in school. You know, there's different things where, you know, you've heard a lot of people, especially in Newham, you know, there's a lot of stories that have happened that, you know, there was this kind of like juju experience, or, you know, people have seen stuff like someone aimed a gun at someone and was trying to shoot, and, you know, the gun wouldn't shoot, and then aimed it away from them, and, you know, and then it fired, and then they tried to aim it back at the person and it didn't work. You know, stuff like that. People have said stuff like, oh, someone's been stabbed, and or the knife just, you know, it went in and it came out, but there was nothing, like no hole, nothing happened to them, you know. You know, just different kind of things like that. And yeah, you know, there's definitely like different stories, you know. I feel like there's even, you know, now a YouTube channel I've seen that my younger brother showed me, where it's like, you know, people sharing different stories or that they've, you know, personally experienced, and, you know, and things that they've heard. And I feel like it's very important to just not be dismissive of, you know, many things, you know, especially when, you know, even if it was just one person, but even when there's, you know, multiple people saying them, you know, they say this kind of thing happened in, what was it, I don't know if it's Mother Teresa, or, you know, what kind of point in time it was, but, you know, there was this like moon thing that happened, you know, in Christianity, that I said that this thing that loads of people saw, that the moon came down or something. And I just feel like, you know, there are loads of experiences that are happening, and there are things that, you know, can't be explained. And I feel like, you know, as humans, you know, we only, you know, have access to a limited range of senses. We don't even have access to the same senses that all different animals and, you know, species may have, you know. And, you know, we all you know, we're not, you know, there's many aspects to our world. And I think it's quite reductionist to say that, oh, because, you know, because, oh, it's, you know, something from Africa or whatever, that it's not real. You know, people won't tell you that, oh, Ouija boards and all these things are, you know, fake. But if you say that, oh, someone did this or put this in this drink and someone drank it or something like that, we'll say, oh, how can that be? Or, you know, this or that. So I feel like, you know, trying to say that these things aren't real and trying to convince someone of that, you know, especially if it's something that they believe. I feel like, you know, what the man earlier said, sorry, I didn't see the name, you know, said it's really about a faith. And I feel like, you know, things that you believe can happen to you and will have an effect on you, will have, you know, the more effect on you. And, you know, things that, you know, for example, like if you believe that, you know, you have this faith and, you know, God is protecting you and whatever, you know, then I don't feel like, you know, these things will have so much effect. You know, it's like I had a person staying, you know, in the building that I'm living in. And, you know, he just started, you know, becoming so and so way, you know, we were disagreeing much or whatever. And I remember I went to go into the room to change like the heating or something. And, you know, I saw that he had this poster in his room that, you know, was like, oh, contact this witch doctor for this, you know, this, you know, love potion, this or whatever, all these different kind of things. And, you know, the guy has, you know, left since then, but I'm sure he believed, you know, the thing, you know, whatever it was, that he'll, you know, be able to get something out of it. And, you know, it's really about, like people say, you know, positive things you can manifest, or I'm manifesting this thing, you know, the power of words, the power of, you know, mental power. And then, you know, it's the same, you know, if other ways. So even if you don't believe so much that, oh, this thing is happening to them, like, you know, the way that, you know, your mind will re-perceive, you know, reality and reinterpret your events and, you know, surroundings and everything will again still have, you know, an effect on the person. So yeah, that's what I had to add.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Oyawale. I think Temi Top, your hand is up. Would you like to unmute and add your contribution? Go ahead.
Hi, all.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, I want to share my own personal experience. Like I always say, I always share my experience for people to learn from.
Yeah.
When I was younger, well, I come from a polygamous house, and my stepmom died, when I was young. But believe you me, when I was growing up, I believe she's my real mom. My mom, I didn't know. So when she died, people were saying, oh, it was my mom that killed her and everything. But they found out later that someone did juju. Actually, my dad's younger brother, they were planning to kill my dad. So he lived in another state in Nigeria. But anytime he comes to our hometown, he always stay in our house. So his wife was planning to leave. So he came to our hometown to tell his family, like, oh, my wife is going, blah, 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 blah. So in disguise of giving him something to use for his wife, they gave him something to use. So they told him to take this bath before leaving in the morning and make sure that he doesn't say bye-bye to anybody, just leave. Normally, my dad is the first person that wakes up in the morning to take his bath. My stepmom was a nurse, a matron. And that day, she wasn't supposed to go to work, but she just woke up very early in the morning and went into the bathroom. So the thing is, like, the first person that sees that water or the soap that is left will die 7 days after. And that was exactly what happened. So they found out later. Then when I was growing up, I always tell my mom, if my mom say, use this, use that, I always tell them, see, mom, there's nothing like juju. If you don't do something bad to someone, if anybody do anything bad to you, it will bounce back. So I always tell her that. But my experience started when my dad married another wife after my mom. There was a time I was sleeping. I just heard someone called my name in the middle of the night. I had my own room, but I won't sleep in my room. I'm my mom's last born, so I always sleep in my mom's bed. So I had someone called my name, Tope, like 3 times. And I answered. And it told me, the voice told me in Yoruba, the way it said it's like, like, fold the rug that you're sleeping on and stand up and start going. And exactly, I did that. I just stood up from the bed and I was like going to leave the house. But good thing that happened was my mom is not a very sound sleeper. So as soon as I was trying to open the door, my mom just held onto me and started shouting that people should help her. So the next day, my dad was like, what happened? Blah, 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 in the middle of the night. And, after some time, I don't know what they did. I opened my eyes. It was like I was sleepwalking. And my dad asked me what happened, and I told him what happened. So the next day was story, going from one place to another, doing all this beret on my face, blah, blah, blah. I still didn't believe until like 3 years later, I was sleeping again. And in the middle of the night, a snake came in, went around my hand, like was circling me. And it was like someone used razor to cut my hand. And I know in the middle of the night, I came from a Muslim family, but I started going to church unknown to my parents. And in my sleep, I was shouting the blood of Jesus. That was the thing that my mom said she heard. Hearing me saying the blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus. So she was saying that, why tomo yi se pariwo Jesu ninu ile wa? That was when she came. And she came in, she said she saw something like that went like a flash. And there was blood in my hand. I still have the mark in my hand. So again, they have to take me, all these places like, so from then, I start believing like, yes, there is juju. But like Omoti said, there's this Yoruba said, "Eniti Obama Beshu John, Shibi Agun." Like if you want to eat with the devil, you have to use a very long spoon. The moment you move closer to them, all these ladies, all these people that have been trafficked, and let me tell you, there's this saying that my dad used to say, there's literates, illiterates. Yes, poverty. Not everybody was born with a silver spoon, but there's been awareness going on about what is going really about this thing. When you decide to go to Europe or wherever they're taking you to, most of the time, 99.9% of the time, you go for prostitution or whatever you're going for. There's awareness about it. But because I watched one movie on Netflix, I can't remember the title of the movie. I think Grace or something. The mom was talking to this girl on the phone, like, see, the other girls are making money. If they tell you to sleep with 1,000 men in a day, you need to sleep and get money. I need money. You need to send money to, and I asked a friend that is from another part of Nigeria, like the same part that that girl was from. And I was like, is this true? Did they really do this thing? And she said, yes. That some of those girls, that their family do force them, like you have to make money. So where they're paying their madam, they are making money. Yes, I always tell people, if somebody tell you life in UK, life in Europe is easy, now lie, oh, it's not. But if you wish to come, try to come in a right way. Don't adhere yourself to someone that will take you to somewhere. There's another Yoruba saying that at times you don't have a conversation with them at all, because the moment you go into it, like the Bible says, give to Caesar what is of Caesar. Yeah. The moment you've gone into that altar, into that home, into that shrine, you've become part of them. So whatever oaths you take with them, and at times it's a thing of the mind as well. Because it happens to individuals at times, like you think, loud, tomorrow morning, I'm sure I'm going to be late for work. If you started thinking about that and it's just subconscious, yeah, that thing, you will be late for work with that tomorrow. And the moment you swear with them, like, oh yes, if I do this, blah, 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 this thing will happen. That subconsciousness is in you already. So the moment you leak that secret or you decide to cheat on them, you'll be expecting that thing to happen to that person, and it will happen. But I know there's juju, and it's not even to Nigeria at Johnson. I have a colleague at work, he's Asian, and we're talking, and he was telling me, oh, there is juju, there's someone using juju to do him. So it's not just to Nigeria, it's everywhere, but it's the way we call it, the way we do it is just different. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Temitope. That was deep. And I love how you ended it. It's not just Nigeria. And that is actually true. I think everybody, every ethnic group has their own version of this. And I just think it's a case of, like you said, you know, the same thing, but we have different ways in which we, you know, operate, you know, how we operate. And we're still bringing it back to the juju and the effect on these trafficked victims. Is the juju being used to hold them down? I'm going to bring us back to, for those of us who were in Nigeria, I would say mid-80s up into the early 90s, the 419, 419, which was basically a regulation by the Nigerian government against people who were obtaining by false pretenses. Now, a lot of people said that juju was used in order to get the people that they were defrauding across the waters. And I happened to have been very, very friendly with him. He was my neighbor, a former SSS, which is a state security agent back in before you had EFCC and all that. And this gentleman made an arrest, and this was a young lawyer. And why I brought this up is because the people that they were obtaining money from were people like me and you who lived abroad, who would simply get a phone call or the most uselessly constructed letter, which stated they had their father, their late father, or they're now widows, your late wife left $10 billion in a vault. For you to collect it, you need to send us your, and I used to sit there and think, is this thing for real? Are they using something to blind these people's senses in order to, because and this is no disrespect to anybody, but anybody that read any of those letters, which I had privy to, it was obviously Jackanory stories. And I also worked in the bank in the UK, and I had a lady who came who had given her bank details to one of these people. And the question I asked her was, did you ever have any such money in a vault? And she said to me, no, she didn't. So the question was, are they using this same juju to defraud these people? Yeah, to hold them down. The trafficked girls, not all of them, like Temi Tokbe said, it's not always about poverty. Some of these girls that are being trafficked are from affluent homes. So is the juju being used to block their senses? You know, if anybody has anything that they can, you know, add to shed light, please do. Yes, Yemi.
I think alongside this juju, excuse me, there is a sense of threat of violence. You know, they saying that if you don't comply, if you don't do as you're told, if you default, then your family at home, they're gonna kill them, they're gonna maim them, they're gonna do so much things. So it's like somebody said, and I fail to remember who, because I think people have said around the same things. It's a lot of it is in the mind, and it's what you take on to believe that can then work against you. But the threat of violence, I believe, is also an addition. So whereas they've gone to swear at some shrine on the juju, it also is on par with the threat of killing members of someone's family. So is it that if that threat of violence wasn't there, of going back to hurt somebody within their families, would they be less compliant to what they've signed up to? And my other question that continues to go in my head is, when people know these things, they know the methodology, they know how it happens, they know what the outcomes are, why do they always still go back to it? So that's me.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Yemi. Exactly. Why do they? So this beggars the question. You ended with, why do they go back to it? There's something luring them back. This is why I'm asking, is this the effect of the juju on them? You heard what Mr. Rashford said when he came on, how these people come into his shop, and it is only by the time that they leave the shop that they in the shop realize something had happened, but something that they are unable to explain. You know, where you have what you call an out of body experience. So what I'm asking, based on what you've just ended with, is they know that they get the feeling, they know that where they're going to be trafficked or whatever is not a good environment, But we also know that many trafficked victims go back. This is where the Stockholm syndrome, I think that's what we call it, right? Where you kind of, is it you fall in love with the perpetrator, no matter the element of punishment that is being meted out. So my question here is this the juju at work? Yes, I think that's what I want to put it. Is that the juju at work? Knowing that going back to such an environment is detrimental for your health. There is no amount of money that you would be given which will mask the demeaning treatment that you receive as a trafficked victim. So is this the effect? Is this the work of juju? Is this what it does? I think these are the questions that I would love to. Temi Tope, is your hand up again, or is that your hand from before?
Yeah, my hand is up.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, to that question that you just asked, and I will refer back to that movie that I watched again. This girl was deported, but because all the time that she worked, all the money was given to madam or whatever, so she didn't make any money. Well, while I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, thank God she's saved. They've reported her, blah, blah. And I was surprised that she was making plans to go back. She's been saved, the madam was caught and everything. But the reason why she was going back is because she didn't make any money. And she said, like, at the end of the day, I was like, okay, she didn't make any money. She's already sold her body. They've used that. So she's going back to get money. And there was another lab experience that I watched on TV, I think BBC Pidgin or something like that in Nigeria. These girls, they were like, most of them, because they've paid their madam, so they go back to work, then they become a madam themselves because they know the way. So I believe I don't think it's the juju that is making them go back, because they've been saved, they've done everything, but because they felt, well, that's the only way, because they've seen the money they made when they were serving under the juju, the juju holds and everything under the madam. They saw the money they were making. So some of them decided to go back to this thing. And when you were talking about those emails, I get them loads. Actually, had an experience recently. Like I'm in a group, because I've not left. I'm in a group on WhatsApp. It's like choir from my church and everything. And one of us account was hacked. I got that call on Saturday morning, early in the morning, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. The person called my name. And I was like, yes, how can I help you? Blah, blah. And it was like, oh, we have a Zoom meeting. We hope you're going to be there. And I was like, yes, okay. And he told me, oh, so I'm going to send you a message now. And, we're going to talk about business, how to make millions. I was like, oh, millions. Is that Naira or pounds? And it was like, pounds. I was like, oh, that's great. I love money, And it was like, yeah, so I'm going to send you a text message now. And the text message is going to give you a code. This is my own code. So you give me the code. And I was like, okay, let me wait and see. And I was like, oh, the code is Olori Burukunyewa Shesin. You know what? He cut off the phone immediately. And I sent the message to the WhatsApp group, like, oh, this number is calling, blah, blah. You guys be careful. And I had 3 people in America that told me, yes, they've called us. And I said, don't pick that number, because that is their phone. And this email, I get them lots of time. And I'll be wondering, who is that my greatest grandfather that has a lot of money and decided to keep it and not give it to us? I don't reply. At times I reply them in Yoruba or Nigerian language. Like, I know maybe if you're a Nigerian, you will know that this one, before you defraud me, I will fraud you. So it's like that. So that one is not juju. Most people that goes to that is greed.
Yeah.
One that is real juju, they will talk to you face to face.
Yeah.
My mom had been a victim, but the only thing that saved her was that, you know, when all those agberos, she used to give them money. She would give them money. So when they've already talked to her that, oh, these people, I believe they know her, that, oh, I have trailers of cement to sell for you at cheapest rate and blah, blah. So she was following them. And that was when they called those Agberona, said, Mama Bolore, Ibolelo, they now told these guys that, no, this one is not your victim. You better release her now. That one is juju. But those emails thinking that people are sending that your greatest grandfather or my husband left money somewhere, all those people that goes to that, it's just a matter of greediness.
Greediness. Thank you so much, Temitope. Thank you for enlightening, because sometimes I think it was Shegun who made the distinction and said, if juju is in you, then, you know, it can come to you. I guess we need to be able to decipher, you know, the real juju from all these people who are just scammers and just out there to try and, you know, defraud us. So yeah, that was an amazing output there for us to understand. And we, you know, we can't, even those of us that are Nigerian, I don't think we should take for granted that we know everything, because we don't. So this is why it's amazing, and it's very important that we have these discussions, because there could be somebody out there that needs to. Now, there is somebody that I was trying to get on, unfortunately, because of network.
Sorry. Can I add something?
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
If everybody should go on their WhatsApp, please, and do this two-way verification.
Yes.
Because if they want to do that, they will try to tell you they need your two-way verification. And the moment they get it, they will access all your accounts.
Okay.
So just go on your WhatsApp menu, I think privacy, I can't remember. And there's these two ways verification. So you add your own number, and don't use your date of birth, your kid's date of birth. Just use a number that you yourself knows about. That is what they use. That's because that is what it came. And the moment I opened my WhatsApp was telling me it's asking for two-way verification.
Okay.
I just said cancel. And immediately I went on there to create my own number.
Okay. What we'll do, we'll drop that. We'll drop it. I know how to do it. We'll drop it in on our page. I'm not sure we can do it in the chat at the moment, but what we'll try and do is drop it on our Saffron page so that everybody can have access to that. Thank you. Omotola, your hand is up. Thank you so much, Temitope. Okay, Omotola, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Like you said, you can't just figure it why people and those victims are still going back. I believe it's because of the threat from the perpetrators. Yeah, I was reading a story, I think, was it yesterday? There was a lady in Italy. So she escaped from a perpetrator. She went to one NGO. So, and the lady was doing well, you understand, until when she received a package from Nigeria. So when she received her package, that was when she left the NGO. And they couldn't find out again. So I believe is a kind of threat from the family and the people that brought her to that prostitution that made them go back to it. I think that's one aspect. And like Topper said as well, maybe some of these victims, the art of eating deep into them. They wanted more, you understand? They couldn't stop. So that is another thing, because they wanted more in that art. They're enjoying it. Maybe they want a lot of money. So maybe financial aspect of it, maybe that's why, you understand?
Yeah.
And thirdly, about these scamming letters, I believe it's greediness, because I'm not expecting money from anybody. I didn't do any business. So why would somebody write me? Well, you understand? In as much I didn't see you physically, you didn't use any juju or anything for me. It won't work. So why will I receive a letter from my email and I will now be like, oh, because I'm not expecting anything. So why will I do that? So that one is greediness, you understand? So thank you. That's what I have to say.
Awesome. And now, secondly, another question I would like to throw out there, for those who are affected or have been affected in any way by juju, or their families or any other, how do you cover yourselves? Is it spiritually? Is there anything that you do, you can do, or others have done that you could possibly, throw out there? Because I remember when I was in secondary school in Nigeria, and a lot of the girls used to be taken home, and they said they used to have spiritual attacks. Now, I wasn't a boarding student, I was a day student, and I used to just stand there and look, because I'm a very curious person. But it's also, I always say, you never condemn what you see until you understand what it is about. And those spiritual attacks, as I grew older, I found them to be real, based on what I observed. So the question I'm asking now is, what do people do, or does anybody know of people who have tried to combat juju? I didn't say fight juju. I know we can't fight juju, and I don't think I'm not telling anybody out there to do so. But what I'm asking, are there any methods that you have used, whether it's spiritual or any other kind of method, to fend off the juju, or to protect yourselves or themselves from juju? Yeah. So that's just for anybody. That's an open question for anybody. Don't be scared. Let me know.
Hello.
Hello. Shegun, are you back? Go ahead, Shegun. I know
this
you
place
must
is
have
dark.
fought juju. Go ahead.
This place is dark. You might not be able to see.
That's okay. You can leave your camera off. It's fine.
Yeah, the place is very dark.
Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead. Did
right.
you get my question though?
Yeah, your question is what exactly can one do for people under the influence of juju? It is very, very simple, but it's technical.
Okay.
Now, let me say there is
You
a
have
question.
3 minutes. 3 minutes to give us that technical.
No problem, no problem.
Thank you.
Like the question on board before this, this you just asked.
Yeah.
So let me pick from that. If you check all what we have been saying since, everything is revolving around the word greed. Do you understand? There is this scenario going on, I don't know for any in Nigeria, it's been long, and even up to date, it's still going around. Taxi will pick people, and along the way, they will say there's $1 billion at the boot of the car, blah, 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 blah. They will go and wash it, they will go and do blah, 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 blah. So everybody become billionaires and all that. Is it not out of greed? You have not worked for anything. They just picked you into a taxi like from 15 naira or something, and from there you want to be a billionaire. As I said earlier, ejo la mambo gunro, which means you discuss with jazz, with juju. They make all this conjunction, what's it called, incantation and everything, like they are making, what's it called, like they are reading psalms, making biblical references. That is how it does work. So if they are now putting your name into it, and greed is not entering your head to want to become a billionaire without having any work at hand, God will help you. Now, concerning the other way, this is your own question, what can they do? For any problem in life, is certain that there must be, for any area someone is having problem in life, you need light in that area. What is called light? Light is wisdom, light is understanding. Now, if you can find anybody under the influence of this so-called juju, it is very key that you bring them to the light. Begin to, end their trust first. That is a technical thing. You can't just tell me what I'm doing is wrong. After all, this is my life, it's not yours, So now, you need to come to me, end my trust, present it in a way that I will understand and I want to reason with you. Like, okay, well, this, and that. This thing is not supposed to be with like this, blah, 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 blah. A lot of people that travel out of Nigeria under the influence of the juju, as I said earlier, will not. That thing, that greed will save their heart, will block their heart from seeking advice from anybody in their neighborhood. And they believe now Italy, particularly my Edo people. Italy. So this is what we are talking about. Let's remove greed from this thing. This juju or whatever, as we have lesser effect when we are talking about this, what's it called? Trafficking. You understand? On the other way around, when we say, okay, the aftermath of it, of course, it is law of karma. Whoever who does what is not good will definitely earn his or her own side. So that is sacrosanct. So on that note, I want to conclude by saying, number one, this juju concerning trafficking works with the greed in the heart of people. They believe once they have not traveled out of Nigeria, they've never made it. Interestingly, an alligator in Nigeria will not touch a crocodile anywhere else in the world. And lastly, for people who are under the influence, it's simple. Give them light. Let them have light in that aspect. It will change their perspective. It will change their understanding. And they will definitely see what you are doing. But the technicality is just that you don't now come and condemn what they are doing just straight like that. Bam, you are wrong. You are jujus. You are jazz. You are no. You have to do it with common sense. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thanks for sticking to my 3 minutes as well. But yeah, I love that. You said to give them light, that was such a positive thing to throw in there. You're not condemning them, so thank you for that, but you're simply saying, show them, find them an alternative. And then you said that the juju works because the greed that is leading them. I don't know. I don't know about that, but that's your perspective, and I respect that. So if there's anybody else that can throw any light on what Segun has added, it's more of how they can cover themselves spiritually, because somebody did say they go back to the situation that they've left. Yemi has typed education. Yeah, I mean, if they're not educated, then how are they going to know different? How will they know different? I think what you've said, Yemi, ties in with what Segun said. That light can come in the shape of very many things. Education, awareness, finding them something practical to do that will empower them to be able to say no. We were going to, I'm hoping that she can join. I'm watching her now. She is struggling to join from where she is in Nigeria. Olutore is a film that it's live now. It's been on Netflix for a couple of years. She's an amazing young lady. She's somebody that I met via social media, but we've really bonded. And she's aware, she shares her story. She's not scared to talk about her story. A real life trafficked victim from Nigeria to Libya, thankfully safely back home now, doing amazing things. And unfortunately, she can't get on because of the connection issues, the network issues we have out there in Nigeria. But she did say that if she could get on, she would, and she would be happy, very happy to talk about her experience, which I've heard from her many times. We discuss quite a lot. So I am able to tell you that sometimes, like what everybody has said here, sometimes it is the fear of them being found out by the owners of them, if you like, because they were at one. This is like slave trade. When you're being trafficked, there's no difference to slave trade, unfortunately, because you are owned by an individual, in this case, the madams. But, I always like to hear from the source. So I'm hoping she can come on. If not, what we would possibly do is at a later date, we'll have another voiceover where we can give her the platform, because I've always said, when you share your stories, we don't know how many people we could be helping out there. in the world. So yes, I want to just welcome a few people this evening, please. Marcia Eliza. Marcia is SaffronSACAP's Director for Youth Engagement, and she is also our residential life coach. So Marcia, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I've been enlightened listening to the conversation in the background. My name is Marcia Eliza, and I'm the Director for Youth Engagement and Intervention and Life Coaching. Thank you, as always, being with us. I am struggling a little bit. I've got a damaged shoulder, and sorry for being late.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Marcia. Oh gosh, your shoulder. Sorry about that. Wishing you well. Hope you get better. Also this evening we have Adebola. Sister Adebola, would you unmute and introduce yourself, please? Who's also our resident. She's one of our directors and our resident social worker for SaffronSACAP. Are you able to unmute, sis, and say hi to everybody, please? She left the building. Elvis has left the building. Now there she is.
Hi, everyone. I just had a little bit of an attack. I'm walking in my street. I can't believe this. And water was poured from a car on me. On the main street.
Whoa.
I think this is the backlash of the England thing. It's amazing.
Are you safe?
You think that you would have moved away from this kind of behavior. I can't believe it happened, but it happened. No. My name is Adebola Amo. And yeah, I'm glad to be here. I've really enjoyed listening to a lot of the conversations tonight. And yeah, hoping to gain more, because this is really a very, very important issue. So I am on board with it. Thank you.
Awesome. Please be safe wherever you are, okay? Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that's the terrain we're in now. But what we need to do is just, everybody please stay safe, be vigilant, have your phones on so that if you have to call emergency services, please, please, please do. Nobody has to be treated like that, no matter what. Okay, so I would also like to welcome Jacqueline Adebija all the way from Nigeria. Jacqueline, it's nice to have you in the house. Good evening. I don't know if you can
Hello,
hear
everyone. It's always a pleasure to sit and listen. Today's was particularly interesting, especially seeing as how a lot of people were very willing to share their personal experiences, because it brings it home. Yes. When you hear someone saying that, look, this is what happened to me. And yeah, it's not peculiar to Nigeria alone. Juju has different names. You can call it voodoo. I'm sure there are other names for it out there. As a matter of fact, the Santeria, or is it Santarian, those who believe in the Santeria religion, or should we call them Santarians of Brazil, will tell you that getting just someone's hair and wrapping it around a doll could actually get transfer that person's spirit to the doll. So yeah, while as adherents of different faiths, you might want to not allow thoughts of things like that rule your everyday activities or how you act or whatever. It's a smart thing to also know that this is something that is real, and probably because of this, we will be more cautious when we are dealing with people. It's not just about trafficking, it's also about who you want to give your trust to, who you want to do business with. These are all very, very important things that you need to take into consideration when you're talking about things like this. It's good to know, honestly. It's a very lovely topic. Thank you. just reminds you once again that, you know, we are all human, but we're not all the same. Our belief system is not the same. And so therefore, not just in trafficking, like I said, but even when you're doing business, be careful.
Yes.
Thank you as always, Saffron.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Thank you. And yes, I love what you said. It's not just always with trafficking. You find that even when you're doing business with each other or business with somebody else, you know, they start throwing the darts, as I like to call them, you know, and the intention, once Juju is involved, we always know that the intention is never a positive one. Yeah, thank you so much for that input. I don't know if there's anybody else. Hope Yakub, are you able to speak? Hope Yakub is come on. Hello? Okay. I think it's the person I'm trying to get on, but we're having some terrible technical. Just give me 1 second, Yemi. If I can hand over to you, Yemi. Yes, it's her. I know. So this is her. Hope is on, but unfortunately, we can see you, but we can't hear you. We can see you. Okay, so Yemi, you're the technical person. So Hope is on. So this is Olutore is on, but unfortunately, she needs direction on the audio. So I don't know if you can help.
I think she just go to her microphone.
She can't hear us, but she can see us.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay.
So
can she switch to phone audio if she
okay.
if she goes onto the, you know, the image where it says a microphone, can she switch onto phone audio?
Okay, all right. I'll be dealing with her. If we can be taking some more inputs, I would love to have some more input on how we can combat. One, how we can combat Juju, whether it's through spiritual ways and also the reason why people do Juju in the first place. Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to hand that over to you.
If I can come in here.
Sure, Jacqueline.
I don't know if it's wise to say combat or even fight. I think it's more about avoiding.
Avoiding, okay.
Give it a wide berth. Just move away from anything that might smell of Juju or, you know, anything that is connected to that. You might want to ensure that you move away from it. Having said that, it's also interesting that this, if history is to be believed, is the foundation of faith, at least in Africa. You know, this was what they say, history says that our forefathers, I mean, like way back, were doing. This was the way of life. And to be honest, you know, there are times, especially as a Nigerian living in Nigeria, that I haven't thought that would our politicians be so reckless in frittering away our collective wealth like this, or should I say embezzling our collective wealth, if they were made to swear by these old methods or gods or whatever. You know, if Juju was the order of the day, would our politicians, because it is obvious that Juju is no one's friend. I mean, like, whether you're talking about from the Okija shrine or, you know, the Orunmila Groove, you know, you don't go there and play. You don't go and swear when you know that you do have no intention of following through. So I'm very careful about condemning. I know that, you know, a lot of times people say, oh, because I'm a Christian now, or because I'm a Muslim now, you know, all these things, they're demonic, they're this, they're that. I don't have an opinion about all those things. Yes, I stay clear because what I know is what I know. I don't know about juju, so I cannot comment on it. But there are times when I just feel like, you know, what would have happened if Christianity and Islam had not made incursions into Africa? For some people, what I'm saying might sound like heresy. And honestly, believe me, I'm a Christian. I do believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, because this is what I know. And that's how I'm going to die with it. But I don't think it's wise for us to say, oh, how do we combat it? I think we don't know what these things are because, you know, there's a disconnect between us and our forebears who knew about these things. And so because we don't know about it, just stay clear. Don't, you know, because you hear people, there are people who have gone to scatter shrine. They will say, oh, in the name of Jesus, you go to your family, this thing, and say, you know, people kick it and desecrate the place. I don't think that, I think personally that these were some of the things Christ was talking about when he said, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. He's not saying worship. He's just saying, look, stay clear. You know, I've had people who Oro, you know, there's this festival in the South, many parts of the Southwest, they call it Oro. And it goes that the god of that festival does not like seeing women. And we've heard of people, you know, as a matter of fact, if you're not a strong man, if you're not amongst them, you don't go out. You know, so I've heard people say, oh, you know, because I'm a son of the living God, I'm going to go and challenge them and go out. So I'm very careful about people using the word combat. Stay clear from them. If they come near you, deal with them. Okay? You deal with them with prayer. Right? You deal with them with prayer. You deal with them with prayer and the fact that your hands are clean.
Yeah.
That's why I keep saying don't dabble. Don't do business with someone who believes in these things. Don't do business with someone. You want to travel out and you're so desperate, and then someone comes, you profess Christianity, and then someone comes to you and says, let's do a blood oath. Why would you want to do something like that? Because the moment you prick your finger, you have dabbled. And so therefore you are under whatever law, whatever principle operating under, you know, that act, you are bound by it. But if you, especially for those who were not, there are those who were put under some oath without their knowing. People like that, yes, they can combat. And I believe strongly in prayer breaking all chains. And so, yes, you can do that because you were not a willing participant.
Sure.
But don't go looking for trouble. Don't say, oh, because I'm a child of God, I need to go combat these people and show them which God is greater. Okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Thank you. Going to quickly go to Chini and Adebola whilst Olutere hopefully can get on, just to buy some time. So yes, Chini, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Oh, sorry, darling. Ask you to unmute. You've got your couple of minutes to say your piece. Sorry, can you unmute? Chin? Yeah. Sorry, I think I keep doing that. Go on. Unmute. There you go.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I just want to say something quickly. I've been following the whole discussion, and for me, it's all been on staying away from juju and keeping your distance and all that. However, I don't think I've heard what anybody has said. There are some people that are well away from juju, innocent, but the juju goes to them or looks for them. What do I mean by this? Mostly this happens in the grassroots, where you have maybe somebody on the farm is doing very well, or somebody has located from town back to the village and is doing very well, and somebody else just throws juju at them. And what is that? You may not physically see it, but you could see it on your body. I mean, I was opportune to witness where one of my aunties had a belt tied around her waist. And what do we mean by that belt? It was a juju, and it's basically your skin being ripped apart, and it forms a belt around the waist. Yeah. Now, the issue here is yes, we use prayers and everything, but let me tell you the truth. In situations of juju, there are some situations where fire has to be matched with fire. And what do I mean by that? As I think it was Jacqueline that said about prayers. You do have to use prayers, but also you might have to go a step further, because there's not all prayer people that are able to, not combat, but to
ward it off.
Yeah, it is difficult. So the point I'm trying to make is also keeping a wide berth from juju. Some people do it. However, it's not about just keeping a wide berth. No matter where you go, juju will follow you if it wants to. And so some people are there, they don't look for the juju, it looks for them. No matter what they do, it's looking for them. So the answer is, in this situation, what do? You are trying to keep a wide berth, but it's still coming after you, because that is what juju does. So that's the point. I just wanted to add that in saying that you have to keep a wide berth, sometimes it's not easy to keep that wide berth, because wherever you go, it does follow you. And I have actually witnessed something like that. So thank you so much for allowing me to give my little contribution.
Thank you. Thank you. Adebola, your hand's up. I'm going to ask you to unmute.
What I was going to say was that in relation to what was being said about juju, is that I do believe that there is something that they call the power of agreement, whatever you agree with. And I think often, I'm not trying to belittle the experience of people, but often what you've agreed to, even the Bible says it, that don't pledge or get into agreement or say you're going to do something if you're not going to do it. You cannot cry out foul play if you've actually agreed the terms of conditions of whatever it is. Now, there's probably going to be an argument that, they were being manipulated and all of that, and I do understand. But however, is that agreement that works, I think. And I think it is what we need to be very, very aware of, and we need to obviously come to terms with that. When it comes to these things, there is an agreement in place. And once there's an agreement in place, you find out that that's why it's worked. And that's why they will demand for something back. So I think it's very important. That power of agreement is really what drives this thing. If you believe it will work for you, it will work for you. And if you've entered an agreement with it, then you shouldn't be taken aback by the backlash of it, because ultimately that's what's going to happen. So that's all I wanted to say, is the power of agreement.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your input. And for those of you who know me, you will know that it's 7, but it's okay. I am in a better mood after everything that has gone on. So I'm not really bothered about the time today. At this stage, I just want to say thank you to all our Facebook people. We're not closing. I just wanted to say thank you because I know they have been listening. And I have been checking to see if there have been any contributions as at yet. Somebody, Kemishola Olori Tozani, great topic. Ajagunna Fani Bukola, good evening, kings and queens in the house. So good evening to you. Mama Alice is in the house. Auntie Amma is watching. Auntie Amma, good evening. I didn't see you on time. We are sorry. Good evening. Thank you so much for always coming on and supporting us. We hope you've enjoyed this topic. At this stage, I would really love, Naomi, if you're still on, if you would, I'd like you to, unmute and just come and give us your thoughts on what you've heard today, because like I did say when we started, you drove this vehicle, you were the wheels behind this. So it would be lovely to just hear a little bit of what you feel.
You can hear me and see me. My connection has been a bit, so I just switched off the camera before, but I mean, it's been absolutely fascinating, I think. It's been such a rich conversation. There's so much wisdom in this room. Well, maybe not room, all of us in our own room, but in this virtual room. And I mean, it's just been so interesting to kind of hear, you know, obviously there's so many kind of questions here. I mean, one question I think that's really emerged is a question about responsibility. Who is responsible and what is responsible as well? Is it the juju? Is it the poverty? Is it people's bad choices? Is it a psychological, you know, Stockholm syndrome, a psychological thing? You know, who's responsible as well? Is it, you know, to what extent is it somebody's own potential greed, or are they completely naive as to what they are getting into? And that, I think, is a very challenging one that, you know, obviously we have different opinions on.
Of course.
And also questions around sort of what, you know, what to do about it in response, and what kind, you know, obviously depending on what you see as the cause, as the source of the problem, will affect what you also see as the solution to the problem as well. And also just, you know, in a broader sense, this question of kind of, you know, the reality of juju, how it can impact somebody's life. And, you know, on the whole, I think it seems that a lot of people have, you know, either very, very personal, their own actual experiences, or an evidence of it, or maybe anecdotal evidence. Maybe they heard something from somebody else as well, or they experienced something through somebody else. But somebody also made the point that, you know, in a way, that may not be, for some people anyway, the most important question, because the effects clearly are real. You know, if you do believe in it, then it is real. It has, you know, it certainly has, you know, real effects on people's lives economically, you know, I mean, just, you know, in everything really. So maybe, you know, actually our differences of opinion on it don't matter so much. And similarly, maybe it's also a matter of what you recognize as it. So obviously, as people have said, you know, in loads of different kind of cultures and religions, there are different, you know, versions of it. So it's different ways of potentially looking at the same kind of spiritual problem. I mean, I guess one question that you know, I'm aware of time, so I don't want to go on and on, but one question that I'm sort of, I guess, would be interested to follow up from there is, you know, I wonder whether if Christianity and Islam, say, did not arrive in Africa, do you think people would believe in Juju in a different way? You know, obviously people who are Christian or Muslim today still don't think that Juju is not real. They might think that the force of Christianity, the force of Jesus, is more powerful, but they don't believe that it does not exist anymore. So then it's a matter of competition, in a sense, of which power and how do you channel that, whether that is through prayer or some other means, maybe deliverance or something like that. You know, and it's then a kind of question about, is Juju just a spiritual force that can be used for good or bad? And what depends is the person who's in charge, who's responsible, you know, what their maybe intentions are. Or is it actually always a bad thing? Is it always kind of something that is used to cause problems to somebody else, et cetera, especially in the situations with, you know, people were talking about blame. Somebody was talking about how their mother was blamed for something. You know, is it always in a negative context, or is that more how we think about it today? I don't know. These are just some questions that I think have emerged from the discussion that are just still very, you know, very, very rich. But I've just, you know, I've absolutely, you know, just been fascinated listening to everybody. Everybody has such rich contributions, and I hope that, you know, in future weeks, I can come along anyway and be part of the conversation, even maybe not, you know, for this film, but just, you know, to get involved. Obviously, you have a great sort of community and great, you know, great conversation about really important topics, I think. So yeah, thank you so much as well for just having me here.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Naomi. It's been a pleasure. This is a topic that, as sensitive as it is, but it is a topic that, you know, a discussion that needed to have been had. It needs to be had. It needs to continue because obviously we all know that these victims are not being stopped. That the trafficking is still going on. And as it was typed, education, education, education. This is part of the education. So, you know, I'm so sorry that Oluture could not come on, which was the young lady that I told you all about. We've tried, and unfortunately it just wasn't happening. But what we will try and do is fix something up with her at a later date. She's very, very open about her story, and she's very willing to share, because her mission is just to make sure that nobody goes through, you know, what she had to go through, and also to show people who have young women who have gone through that there is light. And if we remember when Shegun came on, he made mention of that light, and she is one of the best examples of that light. So yes, once again, Naomi, thank you so much for coming on, and I hope you know, some of the content that you would have got out from here will be of valuable use to yourself in doing the film. And we would really, really love to have that film so that we can share it with our Saffron family as well, because it will be a very educative toolkit, I think, when we're talking about safeguarding these individuals. Yeah. Okay. So at that 2016, oh my gosh, I'm going to charge each and every one of you for overstaying. I'm your landlord this evening. But before I do that, I'm just going to hand over to you, Yemi, just for you say a few words before we close.
Okay. I really haven't got very much to say. It has been just a very interesting discussion, and the contributions from everyone has just been so I don't know if I can use the word inspiring or enlightening is the word I want to use. But like Naomi said, she mentioned a couple of things which were in my head anyways, and that is the fact that, and I believe Lakon mentioned that as well, and a couple of other people mentioned it. So we're all thinking around the same circle, is that if we Christianity hadn't come in, and if Islam and, well, or any other religion that's so prominent hadn't come into our communities, our society in Nigeria, would this um alternative religion or way of life had continued to prosper? And the other thing as well is that, yes, sometimes you see it where people use juju for positive things, and then you see them also use this same medium for negative things. So it's a decision. It's how you want to use it, what you want to use it for, and what you want to gain out of it. And when you use it in the sense that we're using it, or we're talking about, which is trafficking, it's definitely using it in the negative sense, but using the fear it brings upon people to then cause them to agree, as Adibola said, agree and sign up to something they know is scary for them. It's difficult, but they still sign up to it, and still keeps the question, so why? And then it is why I pointed out education is that we just need to continue to raise awareness, continue to talk to people. There are cases of poverty which um, cause people to, sign up to things they think will bring quick money. So do you want to put some of that on greed? Because nothing comes free, or nothing comes easy, nothing comes free. Yeah, as we say, if it's free, then is it, if it's too is it too easy if it's not real? is not real? Mercy, I can see you're nodding. If it looks too free, or if it looks too good, well, that's the phrase, it's too good to be true. If it's too good to be true, then it's definitely not true. You need to start looking at what the pitfalls are in that alternative reality or truth. So yes, I think that it's a shame we couldn't get Olutori on, but please go watch the film. It is, the spelling is what it is. Giz, if you can find it and drop the link in the groups, because we've watched it. Giz and I have watched it like 2 times, and we're still trying to grasp why, when, how, where. You know, why does it even work in the first place? And there's these questions that will continue, and just listening to people's experiences might just help us to continue to deviate, and people to deviate from that line. But it comes down to the fact that people want a quick buck many times, and it's too good to be true. It's not true. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Sorry I couldn't contribute on Facebook, but hey, check me out next week. Back with some fire.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Yemi. Why am I echoing? I have no idea. Yes. Thank you so much for that, Yemi. And yes, that's the film. We will share it on our social media platforms. It's called Oluture, yes, and it's got a part 1 and a part 2. I think the first one was done in 2019. But I am on a mission. I will bring her on. I'm going to just have an in-house discussion with her. And I will definitely try and get her on, even if we finish this segment, but it doesn't matter. I would love to bring her on, because it would be good to hear from her rather than hearing her story from me, because it is not my story. And I always like people to tell their stories. You know, I've never been somebody who likes to tell somebody else's story. So once again, everybody, it's been amazing. And please, 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 do not forget to go onto all our platforms. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Please subscribe on our YouTube page. On Instagram, we are there. And it would be amazing to see you all, you know, getting involved. You know, let's hear what your needs are, your requirements are within the community. Bring it to Saffron. Let's talk about it. Let's have this discussion, and let's together, we said hashtag together we can, because it's only when we come together we can be able to make the change that we want to see. Please don't forget to join us again next week, Wednesday. As you know, we are here every Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Next week, Wednesday, is going to be another emotive program. We're going to have this discussion. You could see we were online, and one of our directors had been poured water in Nottingham. You should not have to walk along the street and have water poured on you. We will be having, yes, Sister Debola was just walking as she was talking to us, and I'm hoping that she's got home safe. But yeah, we are going to have the discussion. We want to find out how our young people, how we can rally around our young people, because some of the questions I have heard from children who were excited a week ago and are absolutely demoralized now, it's heartbreaking. Oh, that's good. Adebola said, yes, I am home and safe. Thank God for that. So we are going to have that talk. And I am going to put it out there. It is not everybody in the United Kingdom that shares the views of those hooligans. We need to put it out there. It is a minority. But what I've always said too is, even amongst the minority, for me, the silence sometimes can be more deafening than the noise. Yeah, because when you stay silent, that to me says compliance. You know, thank you, Naomi. Naomi said, thank God, that is so terrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. I could not hear what, yeah, that was what she said, but she's home and she's safe. But I just think, you know, when was the ball? Football was on Sunday. This is Wednesday. And if people are still carrying that hatred and deciding to throw water on people walking on the street, I'm like, nah, we've got to stand up. We've got to respectfully, I always say we can be firm and assertive without being rude. We don't have to go down to their level. We need to have the discussion and we need to be able to educate, because I believe that the people that are doing this, it's lack of education, lack of awareness. And when they go low, we go high. And that's what we shall be doing next week, Wednesday, when we have the discussion on how we can turn the minds of our young people who are very, very, very downcast at this point in time. They didn't just lose the Euros. They've lost a lot more than that Euro Cup. I'm telling you. But we're gonna bring it back. We're gonna try our best to stop in the gap, be a stand-in for those young ones. So to all our Facebook family, I want to say thank you for joining us. It's always lovely to have you. Auntie Yemi will be back next week, so don't worry. I know you all missed her because I know she does an amazing job on Facebook. She really does. So she will be back. I want to say thank you to Marcia, Eliza, who was our director. Thank you to Adebola Ahmed, our director. Thank you to our director all the way in Abuja, Nigeria, Shegun. Shegun was amazing, as he always is. Thank you, Shegun. Omoti. Omoti is from
The 4Gs.
Kings and Queens on Facebook. You guys come on every week and you guys just rock. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are so looking forward to coming out to Ireland to team up with you guys. It's working. The wheels are in motion, so we will definitely be out there. Temi Tokbe, as always, every week you have come on and you have blown me away. Thank you so much, Temi Tokbe. Thank you, Naomi. Can't thank you enough. And yes, we've called you on today for this, but we really, really would love to see you as part of our shows. I know you're busy and I'm not asking you to come on every Wednesday, but be rest assured you'll be getting a link from me every week. And the ones you can join, please do, because it would be nice to have your input. Thank you and good luck with the film. If there's anything else you require from us, please feel free. Once you come to Saffron, you don't go away. You become family, yeah? So yeah, thank you so much for that. Wuraola, I'm sure you're all the way from Nigeria. Thank you for coming along. And whenever you guys see our posts, share, share, share. The reason I ask us to share is because there may be somebody out there who needs this more than those of us that can come on here. Please share and help somebody out there. Chini, thank you. Chini happens to be my twinnie. So thank you, twinnie, for coming on to support me. I love you loads. Jacqueline, all the way from Nigeria, thank you. Please, everybody, stay safe, be safe, have a good evening. And Marcia, did you want to say something?
Is the home office on Saturday?
Sorry, I was just about to say that. Thank you. Thank you, Marcia. Yes, we do have the third Saturday of the month. As everybody knows, we have our collaboration with the UK Home Office Immigration Team, and we will be here live on Saturday, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Please, Yemi, if you can post the bit.ly link form on our platform. If you have any immigration query, and please guys, take this serious. If you have any immigration query, you need to be on that program on Saturday, especially focusing on international students. September is coming, international students. Sorry, say that again?
And safeguarding, where they have a vulnerability team, and we're going to be discussing with the vulnerability team safeguarding issues that interface with immigration, and how then together we can address them, hopefully find answers and better outcomes
for the community. Temi Tokbe, we will send the link onto the 4Gs platform, and because it's a slightly different link, just a little different to what we're using today. So we will send that. What we would ask is that you share. Immigration is one of the biggest problems the African and Caribbean community face in the UK. It's huge. We're not hiding behind it anymore. We're telling you it's huge. And there are a lot of changes now coming up. So you need to be on so that you can hear straight from the UK Home Office Immigration Team what can happen, what you can do, and what you can't do. Okay, Saffron is standing in that gap, like we've always said we will. We want to be that bridge, you know, to all these organizations for you. So please help us to help yourselves. Come on Saturday, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. We'll be sharing the graphics tonight. From tonight and tomorrow, we'll be sharing the information and the links. So please share. Thank you, everybody. Get home safe. If you're not already home, have a good evening. And once again, thank you for joining SaffronSACAP Voiceover Talk Show. Bye-bye, everybody.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.